Alex, interesting time when it comes to how businesses are run at the moment. Some offices are still fairly quiet. Others have got full houses, and some are in between. So I think one thing's for sure, working from home, whatever business you're in, is going to be here to stay. So virtual is going to be part of our world for a while. And there's one thing I think that we need to address, which is, how do you run a meeting when you've got a load of people who are physical in a room and some people who are virtual, that word hybrid. So what are some of the pitfalls that we need to be aware about and some of the things we need to do to avoid some of those pitfalls when it comes to those hybrid meetings, Alex?
It's a really good point, Gareth, and I'm going to be quite controversial here because what I'm about to say, most people won't have thought of doing, but also may resist doing. So let me just put the problems out there first of all. The problem with hybrid is that if you've got a bunch of people in a meeting room and then a bunch of people, elsewhere, so working from home, let's call it, at their individual laptops, you get a huge disparity in the ability for those people to be part of that meeting. And what I mean by that is if you have people in the meeting room, they will have, if you like, a sub-meeting, and they won't intentionally do so, but you cannot avoid that, talking across the table, having interactions between themselves which exclude the people that are outside the room. The second thing that's difficult with this is that even if you do that and are able to manage that, the quality of the sound, for example, for the people at the receiving end is poor. So here's some very simple tips, but make a radical difference to the experience of everybody within that meeting, particularly thinking about the people who are physically not present. Simple thing is this: everybody still needs to use their own laptop. Mm-hmm. Now that might sound mad. Why would you have 15 people in a room with 15 laptops? The reason for that is that to give people equal levels of participation and connection to that meeting, you have to have people in a similar scenario. Now, that doesn't stop the people in the room kind of talking across to one another and so on, but that's much, much better because actually the direct communication and the rules of running virtual meetings, which we've explored before, still apply. Now, the technical thing that you need to take into account there is that you need to have only one microphone and only one speaker in the room where the bulk of the people are. Why? Because otherwise you get terrible feedback, audio, and so audio feedback via the microphone and the speaker combination. So one speaker, one microphone only, everybody else on mute, everybody else with their speakers off. That works a treat. And then whoever's running that meeting, run it as a virtual meeting with all of the rules that we explained before around running virtual meetings. You'll get much, much better quality interaction as a result of it. So that's the top tip. Slightly controversial, but makes a big change and a big difference to the experience of having that mixture of people together.
So I guess in essence, in summary, what we're saying there is, well, hybrid is one of those words that I think gets bandied about. Actually, if you're going to have people, it's sitting in their room, you need to think about, those virtual disciplines that we've touched on before. And as you said, those technical issues to avoid that feedback loop, which, I've experienced, and it's not a pleasant thing. So, you need to experience it once, I think, to realize some of the downsides of that. So it's really top tips there, Alex. So, yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, pleasure.